Audio sync. YouTube. How's everybody doing on YouTube? I was just heading for bed, honestly. Hopefully I got this black shirt. It looks sexy in black, but if I don't take care of the little dandruffs, it doesn't look so sexy anymore. So in my last video, and I hate to get too much into the weeds here, but I do want to offer a disclaimer of sorts. I don't want to have to course correct too much. I want to leave it as it is pretty much. But just know, hey, there is some need for personal accountability. And for even more than that, I think personal fortitude. So I admire people who can hold it together. Of course, it wasn't a total critique of that effort, although it was. In some modest way, I think the vulnerability, the tension between the two components, letting go, loosening up a little bit, surrendering versus holding it together. So my disclaimer here once again is, yes, I do admire personal fortitude, and in fact it is a necessary component of life. I'm just trying to think here. I think we have that component. Maybe not all of us. I don't think the people I work with, for the most part, have it, right? Or do they? Sometimes they don't. But even people who get let go for one reason or another, often do return. I think there's various reasons. I mean, I'm holding it together in the sense of my attendance is almost too good, but if you have a life and you have a wife and you have family, maybe that wouldn't be as easy, and maybe for good reason you'd have appointments to tend to, and it may not be so easy to juggle everything as a single guy like me. Oh, the great perks of being single. It kind of is, in a way, if you want to be so loyal to your work. But then on my epitaph, what's it gonna say, right? I don't know. I do appreciate me being able to value my work in that way, but I don't know what kind of rabbit trail I want to get off on here. Just the required balance of all things, everything in its place. But I'm still holding to my previous video, and I can't even think of all the components, because when I was doing that video, I was kind of in that world, and now I got to thinking about other stuff, and the word just came to me, personal fortitude. And so really that's the only two words that matter in this video, kind of as an afterthought, or what's the word I used? The fine print, a disclaimer. Personal fortitude, and think about that on your own terms and what that means for you, and maybe what it shouldn't have to mean too, and what's causing you to hold on so tightly to that personal fortitude. We need some element to that. I mean, if we don't hold ourselves together to some extent and let ourselves just fall on the floor in a pile, in a mess, there won't be any light to shine even through, other than just through the atmosphere and us not being there. Or I guess it could shine a light on the broken pieces and the fragments on the floor, I guess. But I don't know. The poem or the essay may not hold up in all circumstances. Maybe you're in a place where you need to get your stuff together. If that be the case, then get your stuff together. I don't know, but I'm thinking some of us are pretty strung up and pretty uptight, and we need a different course in life, or a different, what I dare say, season. Season is a word I think some people are trying to get away from, but I guess I don't know what other word to use right now. That being said, I think that's all good. I'm not going to make a long, drawn-out video. And, yeah, Lord, I just pray you would guide and direct us. You are the great shepherd. You cause us to lie down in green pastures. So it's not always we're strung up so tight and wound up so tight holding things together. In fact, you hold us together by the power of your word, of yourself, really. You are the word. And that whole dynamic between Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, I have a lot to learn about that, but the perichoresis. Yeah, I can listen to C. Baxter Kruger all day, and I'm still, it makes perfect sense when you're listening, trying to get the language and the, I don't know if I'd want to say everyday application, maybe just how it, because once again, if we latch on to evangelical Christianity as it's been, we're going to try to find the application, and I think, there's probably some good in that, but I think he's wanting to include us in his world. And I'm not saying there's no discipline, but I think there's a rethinking God in some aspects. Some people might describe it as deconstruction, but from the people I've been listening to, it actually isn't that. But if you wanted to call it that, suppose you could. But honestly, I think I've become more religious in a sense from my quote-unquote deconstruction. Now, I know there's people that say religion versus relationship. In some ways, yes, I agree. It's kind of not religion if it is relationship. But for the people that are looking in from maybe other perspectives, to them it's probably not. The line's pretty blurred there. But for us, Jesus wants to, we're included in his world. So let's take it from there. I'm still learning the language, so I might not have the nuance of some of the things I've said quite right. I'm trying to avoid using the word invitation because that's not how it was prefaced. It's not an invitation into his world. But I'm learning. And I once had the language in my head of how I would say it. But when it comes to shove, I'm stuck back in that old mindset of invitation, when really Jesus is including us in his world already, almost without invitation. It's like you're there. And you could just ask the question, Jesus, are you inside me? So it's that kind of, it's a different way of thinking about it. But remember, the way I've been brought up, it's hard to make the turn. And sometimes it seems like it's easy. Like, yeah, I get that. I listen to it. But then when I start talking out of my own mouth and my own heart, my own mind, I'm like, oh, wait, what did I just learn? Yeah, but hopefully it's not just mental assertion or whatever. Mental assent, is that what it is? Hopefully we actually are experiencing that dynamic in us, the perichoresis, or that invitation. See, I use the word again, but maybe it is, for lack of better words, he's including, I think that's the word, he's including us in his world. So I wish I would have said it better, but I think that's it for now. Just remember, yes, there's definitely some aspect remaining of personal accountability and personal fortitude. And maybe just not as a footnote, depending on how your script has been written out. So up to this point, it may be at the top of the list for you is get your fortitude, personal fortitude in order. Get it up to snuff. But maybe for the rest of you have that script of personal fortitude really hammered out really well, maybe too well, and maybe it needs to be relaxed. And maybe my prior video would be a good listen for you, and just how to rest in green pastures and allow the Lord to do work in your heart. All right, that'll be it. Thanks for listening. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Time for bed for me.